Have you ever wondered why some brand new cars start showing all sorts of problems after just a few years? It's not because you're a reckless driver, it's often the smart features manufacturers add. They sound cutting edge, but in reality, they're traps that shorten engine life and send repair costs skyrocketing. This video will reveal 23 fancy but harmful features, from electronic buttons and multi-gear transmissions to panoramic sunroofs. Watch to the end to discover which culprits are cutting your car's lifespan and how to avoid them before it's too late. Like and subscribe to the channel if this video helps you. 23. Electronic or hidden door handles. At first glance, electronic or hidden door handles that blend into the car's body look sleek, like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. But behind that polished look lies a chain of potential headaches. What used to be a simple mechanical lever costing a few bucks now relies on tiny motors, fragile sensors, and easily damaged wiring. When they work, it's fine. But a weak battery, a motor jammed by ice or snow, or a shorted circuit can lock you out, or worse, trap you inside during an emergency. Some Tesla or Ford Mach-E owners have paid hundreds to replace a single handle. On luxury cars, the cost can hit nearly $900 per handle, not counting wait times for parts. In winter, when ice and snow cover them, these handles can freeze up completely, turning your car into a motionless brick. And in a crash, the lack of a backup mechanical lever could mean losing a safe escape route. The advice here is simple. Don't fall for these tech show-off features. Choose a trim with traditional mechanical handles. They're durable and easy to fix. If your car has electronic ones, learn the emergency release method now. Sometimes the line between convenience and disaster is just one small detail. 22. Haptic touch controls. On a brochure or in a showroom, glossy haptic touch control panels look like a spaceship cockpit. No more clunky mechanical buttons, just a sleek glass surface where a light tap makes the car respond. But this glamour quickly turns into a real-world nightmare. After a few summers under the blazing sun and UV rays, the plastic surface starts bubbling or cracking. Add sweat and oil from your hands, and the sensors beneath weaken. The result? You try to turn on the AC but accidentally trigger the seat heater. Or you swipe to clear fog and the screen ignores you. Worse, when wearing gloves or with wet hands, the system becomes nearly deaf, leaving you stranded in situations needing quick action. Repair costs aren't cheap. Replacing a Tesla control screen can hit $2,500, and Cadillacs around $1,800, with most independent shops unable to fix them. Only full replacements work. Some owners get so frustrated they carry a stylus for cold days. That's why many brands are returning to physical buttons in newer models. Reliability and convenience sometimes beat the so-called future. 21. Active grille shutters. It sounds clever. Small shutters hidden behind the grille automatically close to reduce drag when cruising or to warm the engine faster in cold weather. But in reality, this green tech feature hides a lot of unpredictable trouble. The thin plastic shutters sit right behind the front bumper, catching salt, gravel, mud, and even dead bugs. A piece of ice or a broken shutter can jam the tiny motor controlling them. When that happens, cooling airflow gets blocked. The engine overheats quickly. The cooling fan screams at full blast, and you might get an overheat warning on the highway. Many owners report spending thousands after just 50,000, 60,000 miles to replace the motor or shutter assembly. Some brands, like Ford and GM, even issue specific error codes for shutter jams. The problem is, mechanics often miss this part since it's hard to spot without a flashlight. Drivers only notice when the check engine light glows or the car suddenly enters limp mode mid-drive. The smart fix? During every oil change, check the grille yourself to see if the shutters are stuck, bent, or broken. Comment 1 and like this video, and I'll reveal something even more shocking. 20. Wet timing belt. It sounds like a great idea. A timing belt submerged in engine oil to reduce friction, run quieter, and save fuel. But reality is far from the hype. Rubber exposed to hot oil over time degrades from the inside out. Rubber fibers break off, mixing into the oil and turning it into thick sludge that clogs the oil pickup. When that happens, the oil pump can't deliver enough lubrication and the engine runs dry. In moments, pistons can collide with valves, camshafts wear down, or the turbo fails from oil starvation, wrecking the entire engine. Many Ford and Stellantis owners have faced this after just 60,000 miles, with repair bills topping $5,000. The danger is, a wet timing belt gives no warning before failing. No squeaks, no leaks, just a sudden engine shutdown when it's too late. The only prevention is early replacement, ideally between 50,000 and 80,000 miles, not the manufacturer's suggested interval. Always use high-quality synthetic oil to slow the rubber's breakdown. 19. Air suspension? It sounds luxurious, a car gliding like a magic carpet with a suspension that raises or lowers on command. But air suspension is like a ticking time bomb under your car. The system relies on air pumps, hoses, sensors, and rubber airbags. A tiny leak in one bag can cause the car to sag on one side overnight. The compressor runs non-stop to compensate, quickly overloading and burning out. When one part fails, the whole system collapses, with repair costs ranging from $2,000 to $5,000. Plus, moisture in the hoses rusts valves, and in winter, it can freeze, causing sensors to misread. Many owners get so fed up they ditch air suspension for traditional coil springs. The advice? If your car has air suspension, drain moisture regularly, keep the airbags clean, and check for sagging early. If buying a used car, think twice. A small crack in an airbag can start a chain of massive repair bills. 18. Electric water pump. In theory, an electric water pump sounds logical. It doesn't rely on a belt, actively cools even after the engine's off, protects the turbo, and saves fuel. But in reality, it's a silent engine killer. Unlike traditional mechanical pumps that leak before failing, electric pumps just stop. 1 second the car's fine, the next, the temperature gauge spikes red, the engine boils, and you can't react in time. Many BMW, Audi, and even Toyota models have seen these pumps fail as early as 50,000 miles due to cracked plastic housings, burnt circuit boards, or electrical shorts. Replacement costs average $2,000, but if left too long, you could be looking at a $6,000 engine failure. The only solution? Don't wait for it to die. Replace it preventively around 60,000 miles, and always watch the temperature gauge. With electric pumps, when the warning light glows, it's already too late. 16. Tire Pressure Monitoring System, TPMS. At first, TPMS was hailed as a lifesaver. It warns you when tires are low to prevent accidents. But few know each sensor contains a sealed lithium battery that can't be replaced. When the battery dies, the whole sensor becomes junk. You'll need to replace all four, costing $400 to over $1,000, plus a few hundred more for reprogramming. Cold weather can make them glitch, showing false pressure readings that leave drivers confused. Some get so annoyed they disable the warning or ignore the constant yellow light. But that's like tossing out a useful safety system. The smart move: if one sensor fails, replace the whole set to avoid repeated labor costs. Also, use non-metal valve caps to prevent corrosion, as a tiny $2 part can save or cost you hundreds. Smart tech can sometimes be a trap for your wallet. 16. Brake-by-wire. It sounds cutting edge, ditching traditional brake fluid for sensors, electronic modules, and smart actuators. The goal is seamless integration of regenerative and friction braking, saving energy. But when everything depends on electrical signals, a single glitch can turn your car into a sliding brick. A dip in the 12V battery, a faulty sensor, or a software hiccup can wipe out all braking power. Some Tesla drivers report brakes failing mid-turn, and Mercedes recalled over 200,000 cars for brakes cutting out during normal driving. If you're lucky, the car enters limp brake mode with weak braking. If not, the consequences are dire. Fixing these systems isn't cheap. Repairs often require brand-specific diagnostic tools, costing up to $3,000. The advice? Replace the 12V battery early, maintain brake fluid regularly, and inspect thoroughly before buying a used car. When brake-by-wire betrays you, there's no second chance. 15. Run flat tires. The idea sounds amazing. Get a puncture and still drive 50 miles to a shop. No roadside tire change needed. But run flat tires are like a gift with a curse. To handle flats, their sidewalls are ultra stiff, making the ride bumpy, noisy, and faster wearing than regular tires. They're 20–40% heavier, putting extra strain on the suspension and shortening shock absorber life. When fully flat, run flats self-destruct internally, becoming unrepairable. You have to replace them. Costs aren't small, $200–450 per tire, and if the rim's damaged, bills can hit $1,000. Many BMW and Mini owners complain that not every shop stocks these tires, leading to weeks-long waits. Worse, ditching the spare tire for run flats leaves you totally reliant on them. If one fails on a Sunday night, you're likely calling a tow truck. That's why many savvy owners switch to regular tires and carry a compact spare. It's smoother and cheaper and avoids getting stranded by a tech that sounds convenient but shortens your car's and wallet's lifespan. If this information is helpful, please comment too to let me know. 14. Electronic gear selector, knob button. At first glance, rotary knobs or push-button gear selectors look modern, sleek, and space-saving compared to traditional shifters. But behind the polish lies a big risk. Unlike mechanical shifters linked directly to the transmission, these rely entirely on sensors and electronics. A small glitch, like spilled liquid in the knob's gap, a weak battery, or a sensor short, can lock the car in park, leaving you stranded in place. Many Hyundai and Ford drivers have reported waiting hours for a tow because the selector wouldn't work. Repairs aren't cheap, $900 to the $1,500, sometimes with week-long waits for parts. Worse, in an emergency, fumbling with buttons can waste precious time compared to a familiar mechanical lever. If your car has this system, learn the manual override hidden under a plastic cover. If you're buying a new car, a simple mechanical shifter is often the wisest choice. 13. 8 to 10 speed transmissions. They sound appealing. More gears mean smoother shifts, a quieter ride, and better fuel economy. But in reality, cramming 8, 9, or even 10 gears into a compact space turns the transmission into a ticking time bomb. Thinner gears face higher stress, and a complex web of clutches and sensors must work perfectly. A single wrong signal can cause jerky shifts, slipping to neutral, or chaotic gear changes. Many Ford, GM, and Jeep drivers have faced transmission failures after just 30,000 miles. When it breaks, repair costs can hit $5,000 to $9,000, and parts aren't always available. The advice: change transmission fluid earlier than recommended, around every 40,000 miles, and watch for warning signs like delays, vibrations, or odd noises. Never ignore them. When a transmission gives up, your car is basically paralyzed. Sometimes the simplicity of a lower gear transmission is what makes a car last longer. 12. Electronic parking brake. It sounds modern. Press a button, and the parking brake engages automatically, even tightening when you stop. But behind that convenience lurks a potential nightmare. Unlike a simple mechanical lever, electronic parking brakes rely on tiny motors in the rear brake calipers. If water, road salt, or rust gets in, the motor can seize, leaving the car stuck no matter how hard you try. Many drivers have had to call a tow truck because their car was frozen in the garage. Worse, the system ties to software. A dip in the 12V battery or a faulty update can prevent the brake from releasing or trigger false warnings, stranding you mid-road. Repairs aren't cheap. $1,500 to $2,000 for a new brake assembly plus reprogramming costs. If your car has an electronic parking brake, replace the 12V battery early, around year 4, clean wheel wells after snowy drives, and learn the manual release method. If you value durability, a classic hand lever is often far more reliable. 11. Smart Charging Alternator. Smart charging alternators are marketed as fuel savers by adjusting charging voltage. It sounds reasonable, but in reality, it leaves many owners in tears. Instead of keeping the battery at a steady 12.6 V like older systems, these alternators charge at 11.9, 12.2 V to reduce engine load. The result? The battery is constantly undercharged, it sells sulfate quickly, and it can die in just 18 months. Many owners think it's a bad battery, spend hundreds on a new one, only to face the same issue a few years later. Cold climates make it worse, causing hard starts in the morning. Plus, AGM or EFB batteries required for start-stop systems are pricier and last only 2 to 3 years. The practical fix? Invest in a trickle charger to top off the battery monthly, or, if possible, tweak the software to restore traditional charging. A bit of proactivity can double your battery's life and prevent your car from conking out due to a feature that sounds smart but isn't. 10. Integrated LED headlights. Everyone loves LED headlights. Brighter, prettier, and theoretically longer lasting than halogens. But the catch is, if one small part fails, you can't just replace a bulb. You have to swap the entire headlight assembly. And LED assemblies aren't cheap. $900 to $3,000 per side, often requiring front bumper removal to install. Failures come from ridiculous causes: a weak solder joint, moisture intrusion, or high heat burning out circuits. Many Toyota, Audi, BMW, and Ford models have seen LED failures after just tens of thousands of miles, often right after the warranty ends. The danger is, if a light flickers or dies at night, you're stuck with no quick fix except an expensive repair. Some savvy owners choose lower trims with cheap, replaceable halogen bulbs. Cautious drivers add sunshades to protect headlights from moisture and heat. Let's be blunt. Integrated LEDs are like a forced luxury, turning something as simple as lighting into a costly burden. Sometimes a $20 halogen bulb offers far more peace of mind. 9. Large rims with low-profile tires. At first glance, 19 21-inch rims with thin tires look sporty and sleek, but they're a double-edged sword. Thinner sidewalls mean less cushioning, so every pothole or curb slams directly into the rim, shocks, and chassis. Many Tesla, BMW, and Mercedes owners complain of cracked rims after just one winter, with replacement costs reaching hundreds per rim. Plus, low-profile tires cost 50% more, are prone to sidewall bulges or blowouts from punctures, and are nearly impossible to patch. The result? Worse fuel economy and a loss of the car's natural smoothness. For a balance of style and durability, choose moderate rims with slightly thicker tires. A few extra millimeters of rubber can save you from a $2,000 bill caused by an unexpected pothole. 8. Plastic engine components. To cut weight and meet emissions standards, many brands have swapped metal parts for plastic. Coolant reservoirs, thermostat housings, oil pans, and even timing chain guides. On paper, it makes sense. But in reality, plastic faces high heat and pressure daily, inevitably cracking or deforming. When it fails, it's sudden. A coolant tank bursts at a stoplight, oil pours under the car, or a cracked intake stalls you on the highway. Repairs aren't cheap, as many parts are deep in the engine, with labor costs often doubling the part's price. Class action lawsuits have hit BMW and Ford for plastic parts failing and causing engine damage. The advice? If your car is over 60,000 miles, consider proactively replacing with aluminum or steel versions after inspection. Spending a few hundred now is far cheaper than a tow truck when your car evaporates mid-drive. 7. Keyless entry. Just keep the fob in your pocket, walk up, and the door unlocks. Press a button, and the car starts. Sounds super convenient. But that convenience comes with two big problems. First, the keyless system is always awake, scanning for the fob signal, quietly draining the battery in just 7 and 10 days of inactivity. So many people return from a trip to find their car's battery dead, unable to start. Second, this tech opens the door for thieves. With a $20 signal booster, they can clone your fob and drive off in 20 seconds, a trick called a relay attack. The result? Higher insurance premiums, a thinner wallet, and a lost sense of security. The smart owner's fix: store your fob in a Faraday pouch at home, use a trickle charger for long parking periods, and never leave the fob near the front door. Tech isn't always as smart as it sounds, and with keyless entry, you need to be proactive to keep the convenience without becoming an easy target for thieves. 6. Soy-based wire insulation. To be eco-friendly, many brands switch to wire insulation made from soy and plant fibers. It's a green idea, but it turns your car into a buffet for rodents. Rats and mice love the taste of this coating, and in just a few nights, they can chew wiring to shreds. The consequences are unpredictable. Random warning lights, sensors losing signals, unexplained battery drain, or even loss of power steering mid-turn. Repair costs aren't small. Some Honda owners have paid over $8,000 to rewire entire harnesses. Plus, this material absorbs moisture, rots, and becomes brittle under high heat, slashing wire lifespan. To prevent this, use rodent repellent tape, wire mesh covers, or park in a sealed garage. Some even spray peppermint oil around the engine bay to deter pests. It sounds simple, but it can save your car from flatlining due to a few tiny bites. 5. Low-tension piston rings. To chase fuel efficiency, many brands designed thinner piston rings with lower tension. On paper, less friction means a lighter engine. But in reality, these rings struggle to seal the combustion chamber, especially when you ease off the gas or use thin oil. Gaps let oil leak into the chamber, burning into blue smoke and carbon buildup. Over time, rings seize, and the engine starts eating a quart of oil every 1,000 miles. Many drivers only notice when the dipstick is bone dry or the catalytic converter clogs from burnt oil. Big names like Toyota, Subaru, and GM have faced lawsuits over this issue. The temporary fix: monitor oil levels closely and top off regularly. But when rings seize completely, you're looking at a $4,000, $7,000 engine replacement. The lesson: don't ignore oil warning lights or faint blue exhaust smoke. If buying a used car, research models known for oil burning to avoid a ticking time bomb in your garage. 4. Panoramic sunroof. Looking up through a panoramic sunroof to see the sky is undeniably appealing, but this luxury feature is a risky one. First, glass absorbs heat intensely. On a summer day, the cabin can be 30 to 40 degrees hotter than a steel-roofed car, overworking the AC and cutting its lifespan and efficiency. Second, glass is heavier than steel and sits high on the roof, raising the car's center of gravity and making handling floatier, especially in corners. Most critically, glass can crack, leak, or shatter after a few years. Replacement? Brace for $1,500, $3,000, and insurance might not cover it. Many owners deal with water dripping onto seats or annoying wind noise on the highway. For long-term driving, a traditional steel roof is more practical. If you love the open feel, check seals and gaskets regularly. A tiny crack can turn your drive into a soggy nightmare. 3. Tire repair kit instead of a spare. Nowadays, many brands ditch the spare tire to save a few pounds and some trunk space. Instead, They give you a tire repair kit with sealant and a mini compressor. It sounds convenient, but it's a sweet trap. The kit only works for small punctures under 4 PSM. If the sidewall tears, the tire blows out from a pothole, or the rim bends, you're out of luck. Worse, the sealant has a shelf life of about 4 years, becoming useless after that, and most drivers don't even know it's there. Using it can ruin tire pressure sensors or stick to the rim, spiking repair costs. Some brands even recalled kits due to fire risks. The smart solution: get a compact spare tire or at least carry a basic plug kit. Because when a tire goes flat on a Sunday night on the highway, that miracle kit will only help you call a tow truck faster. 2. Capless fuel filler. It sounds handy. Open the fuel door, insert the nozzle, and pump. No cap to unscrew, no forgetting it, and no dirty hands. But that convenience brings plenty of headaches. Inside the filler neck, rubber seals and tiny flaps must close tightly after each fill-up. A single grain of sand or dust can prevent a proper seal, triggering an evap system leak and lighting up the check engine light. Then, you're stuck with a garage visit, and replacing the filler assembly can cost $400 to $600. In winter, seals can harden, causing loose closures, fuel spills, or vapor leaks. Some drivers have filled up only to get an error code on the drive home. The simple but overlooked fix: use the provided plastic funnel, often included by the manufacturer. Clean the filler neck every few months, and consider adding a lightweight dust cap. Sometimes, simplification comes at a steep price for peace of mind. It's 1. Always-on systems. Back in the day, when you turned off the engine and pulled the key, the car truly slept, with only the clock ticking. Now it's different. Keyless entry, GPS, and remote control apps stay quietly active even after you walk away. That means the battery is constantly draining. Some modern SUVs draw up to 150 mph when parked, so even a healthy battery lasts just 10 to 14 days. Tesla's Sentry mode can sap 8 to 10% of the battery daily. Many owners return from a trip or airport parking to a dead battery, unable to start. Plus, modems or buggy sensors sometimes fail to sleep, draining power non-stop. The fix? Turn off unneeded features, use a trickle charger for long parking, and check periodically if the car is truly in sleep mode. Tech brings convenience, but without control, you'll pay with frustrating no-start moments, exactly when you need your car most. Many features sound modern, but quietly shorten your car's life and drain your wallet. From start-stop and electronic brakes to panoramic sunroofs, they can turn convenience into a $1,000 repair burden. The lesson: don't chase flashiness. Choose simple, mechanical, and durable. Proactive checks, maintenance, and understanding your car will save you money, keep you safe, and give you more peace of mind on every drive.